What up, QC crew? Today we have an anonymous message here on King's Anonymous.
Run it up for sure. Your bitch gon' not know when it's up. Run that shit, we at all the show. Say that shit for your camera.
Warning. Everything said in this video and on this platform is strictly my opinion and all alleged. Here, we speak about hot topics on YouTube and other social media platforms for entertainment and conversational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey King, me and my wife been married for a few years. She has a so-called best friend in another state. The friend does not call or text when I'm around. We never even said hello to each other. I remember once she called her phone and was like, "What you doing?" She said nothing with my wife, and the friend was like, "Okay, I'll call you back." Like she's trying to avoid me. I randomly looked at their text before and seen where she calls the friend sexy, love, boo, bae, etc. My wife has never hid or acted secretly with her phone. I often see messages that say, "I'm thinking about you" from both ends. Am I tripping, or does this sound like more than a friendship? How do I bring this up without sounding insecure in the relationship? What up, anonymous messenger? Looking at this message that you sent, it seems like you need to have a real sit-down, serious conversation with your mate. I have a few questions off the rip. You say that you and your wife been married for a few years. I want to know how long your wife and her best friend has been friends. If this is a person that was already in your wife's life before you guys got into a relationship, then I would say you should take a deeper dive with your wife and see how this friendship started. See if she wants to open up to you about this best friend. It seems like the best friend wants to avoid you, but it doesn't seem like your wife would have too big of an issue with talking about this person to you. Not to say that you should fish for negative things about this friend, but try and get details of how the friendship started or where they met, how they met. Is the friend a homosexual? Does the friend have a family? Or even, is the friend the person that they say that they are? I say that because we do live in a time where friendships and relationships are made online. And because you didn't share those details of how long your wife and her friend had been friends, I'm not 100% able to put all the pieces to the puzzle together. Now, hypothetically speaking, your wife's best friend was her best friend before you guys got into a relationship. I would say it might be a little bit hard to try and end this friendship, being that the history runs a little bit deep between her and her friend than the history between you and your wife. But if you feel some type of way and that feeling is not a good feeling, you should definitely have a serious conversation with your wife about this individual. Being that this is not your girlfriend or your fiance and you guys have made a serious commitment to each other, you should be able to express your true feelings about this friend to her without it being an issue. Be sure to come correct though. Make sure you ensure your wife that you trust her. However, her friend makes you a little bit uncomfortable. In my opinion, if this is femme talking to femme, it seems like normal conversation. When it comes to sexy, love, bae, and boo, some of our women out here speak like that to their friends, and it's just conversation. I've actually witnessed a lot of women in my life speak that way to strangers. Their conversation and the words that they use, they try to be very welcoming while calling another woman love or bae or boo. The part that draws a red flag for me is the friend trying to avoid you. I am a firm believer of, if I'm friends with a woman or a man that is married, I now must accept and respect their partner in which they're married to, the person that they are married to. It looks a little weird because the friend isn't even acknowledging your presence. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you two have to be besties or hang out or chat about anything. You guys don't even have to be friends for that matter. Now, don't get me wrong. You and your wife's friend does not have to be friends. You guys don't have to have each other's number. But I would expect for your wife's friend to be at least cordial with you, speak to you, and vice versa. If you notice that your wife is on the phone with her friend, you speak to her friend. That's pretty much it, as long as you guys are respecting each other. So I would definitely bring this up in a real cool setting. You know, maybe set up a date somewhere where you guys can communicate. You know, you don't want to go nowhere where you have to do too much activity. Maybe a nice little dinner date. Maybe go out for dessert somewhere, a beach if you're near one, a park, kind of have a little picnic, just somewhere where it can be an intimate conversation and you don't have to worry about distraction. And I would simply just ask her straight up, you know, what's the deal with your best friend? It seems like you guys have a really great relationship, and I love that for you. I find it a little bit uncomfortable the way you guys speak to each other with the babe and the sexy, but aside from that, I find it really uncomfortable that it seems like your friend is trying to avoid me. She doesn't say hello to me when you guys are on the phone, and if she happens to call you while I'm around and she realizes that I'm around, she quickly hangs up. What's the deal with that? And if your wife starts to feed you like, oh no, that's just her personality, or oh no, she doesn't want to interrupt the time we're spending together, or oh no, it's nothing like that and that's not enough for you, then I would say you ask your wife to prove it. Prove that there is not an issue. Prove that there is not anything going on. And the way your wife can prove it is you guys set up some sort of event, some sort of friends trip. You invite some of your friends, your wife invites some of her friends, including the best friend. And let's meet, because if this is your wife's best friend and you've never spoken to her, that in my case would be a tad bit weird. Again, don't get me wrong, you do not have to be besties with your wife's bestie, but you guys should at least be cordial. Feel free to give me an update with a little bit more detail and let me know if I answered your question thoroughly. For everyone watching who also has a question or a concern in their life that they would like me to comment on, be sure to drop that in my DMs on Instagram or send it directly to my email. No one will know who you are. Hell, you can even make a fake account if you like. This is Kings Anonymous. Who will be the next anonymous messenger? Hey King, me and my wife been married for a few years. She has a so-called best friend in another state. The friend does not call or text when I'm around. We never even said hello to each other. I remember once she called her phone and was like, "What you doing?" She said nothing with my wife and the friend was like, "Okay, I'll call you back." Like she's trying to avoid me. I randomly looked at their text before and seen where she calls the friend sexy, love, boo, bae, etc. My wife has never hid or acted secretly with her phone. I often see messages that say, "I'm thinking about you" from both ends. Am I tripping, or does this sound like more than a friendship? How do I bring this up without sounding insecure in the relationship?
Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera.